Hello and welcome back to the Boxing Social Podcast in association with Betfred. With me, your host, Rob Tebbutt. Delighted to be joined by the British middleweight champion, Denzel Too Sharp Bentley. How are you, sir? Nice to see you.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. If I just ask you to lean forward and talk into the microphone, there we go. So it's like one of those like face-off videos.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that I'm several weight classes heavier than you right now. First time we've done this.
Yeah, it's good. It's a nice little setup. I like it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's good. It's my happy place.
Yeah,
so it's particularly nice with when you consider COVID and not being able to get out and about. And I mean, I'm sure you quite like not having to have people like me lining up behind you at press conferences, but I miss it, you know. Yeah. So having a bit of face-to-face time is always good. But how are you? How are you getting on?
I'm good. Camp's going well. You know, nearly there now. So. That's the main thing, isn't it? So, yeah.
Yeah, you're only a couple of weeks away. It feels like this fight's considering how long it's been talked about, as you mentioned, we mentioned briefly before we started filming, it's been spoken about since before you boxed Mark Hefferon the first time, you know, as a potential fight. But it feels like now it's kind of crept up on us a little bit.
Yeah, it has. I think even when I got back, like, from Ghana, obviously, because I took a trip, like, got straight into the gym, training, we knew, obviously, this was a potential fight from then. And it felt long. But now it's like, oh, wow, it's here. Like, it's just crept up, so... Yeah, it's not. I'm happy it's here. I'm happy it's here. So yeah.
Now you mentioned Ghana. That's something that I wanted to speak to you about later on, but we might as well talk about it now. I'm always very keen to speak to. I speak to Joshua Boatsi fairly regularly. He's always going back and forward from Ghana and visiting his family and what have you. What's it like in Ghana? I've never been. I've always wanted to go.
It's nice. The weather's nice. It's always hot out there. Even when it's raining, it's still hot. But it's nice. Obviously, I got a lot of family out there, so it's visiting family for the most part. But it's very, I enjoyed it. I was there for like almost 2 months. So visited family, went to my grandma's funeral, then of course I've done a few other things, meeting some important people and stuff like Azuma Nelson and the King of the Ashanti Kingdom and all those stuff. So that was good as well. But apart from that, I just like going there. I try to go every year, at least, like over Christmas and stuff, spend Christmas with the family over there and stuff. But yeah, no, it's nice. It's nice.
I heard Christmas can be quite lively in Ghana.
Yeah, it can. It can. I'm not going to lie, it can.
What's Christmas like for you in Ghana? Talk to me about a Ghanaian Christmas.
It's different. Because, like, of course I grew up here. So, like, Christmas here is always cold. You're at home with the family. It's cozy, a lot of food and stuff. Out there, it's just warm. And, like, Christmas isn't as big as it is over there as it is here. So, like, you're not going to walk down the streets and see Christmas lights and all these things. So, it's just what you kind of make of it. But there's always family there, so... listen, Ghanaians, we love to eat some heavy food. So there's always some heavy food going around and lots of family and that kind of love and spirit kind of thing going on. So it's still nice to be out there. And obviously, Boxing Day, my dad's always out there with the kids from the orphanage, giving back to them and stuff. So that also is something else to add, like it's something to do. So I go with him, me and my brothers and my sister, go with him, hand out some food to the orphanage and the elderly and stuff. So, yeah, it's good.
What's that like for you? Because obviously, I think sometimes we kind of get caught up in the rat race of being over here and then you go over and do something like that. You mentioned kind of working with people in an orphanage in Ghana, African country. Mm-hmm. What's that like for you? I'd imagine that's quite a humbling experience.
100%. It's humbling. It's always an eye-opener. Like, you forget, like, I'm here most of the year. I go back there for, like, a couple of weeks for a month and then you come back and you forget about it. You're back to, what you want to achieve, your goals and stuff, and where you want to be in life. So, like you said, you're caught up in that rat race. We're trying to just be better ourselves. But then every time I go back and, I see the position that some people are in, especially, the people that my dad helped through his foundation, it kind of makes me sit back and think, right, I appreciate what you got a little bit. Like at one point, and one of my friends always says this to me as well, like at some point, what I had now, I was wishing for, and now I've got it. But when you get there, you kind of just throw it to the back of your mind and try to achieve more, which is cool, but you got to take time to appreciate what you got now. So every time I go there, I feel happy to help every time. Like you said, it's humbling. Whenever I get back, it makes me want to work harder as well and just appreciate where I am at the same time. So, yeah.
What was it like meeting Azuma Nelson?
That was good. That was good. Yeah, that was good. When I went there, that was one of my requests. I said I want to meet him. And, my dad and his people managed to line it up for me. So finally met him. I don't know what I expect him to be like, but he was a lot more cool than, I probably would have thought. Because, like, I was there with my family and stuff, but as soon as, everyone cracked on and started doing their thing and eating, he just turned around and started talking to me. Oh, so how was the fight and blah, blah, blah. So what's this and that? And then he just started telling me loads of stories, telling me about the Jim McDonald fight, telling me about how Barry McGuigan ducked him and all these things. And yeah, it was good. It was good. It was interesting.
Yeah, he could fight a bit. Back in the day, he could really fight a bit. That's really cool. What did he give you? Did he give you any pearls of wisdom with regards to your boxing career?
Yeah, I was just asking him questions. And he was just like, listen, just make sure you're always on top of your game. Nobody's fitter than you. Like, just keep pushing on. Like, always aim to achieve better. And he's saying, if I can be better than him, go be better than him. So that was nice to hear from him because, like he said, he's a legend in the sport. So it's good.
I spoke to Isaac Dogbe about Azuma Nelson. Obviously, when Isaac was world champion, he had kind of been anointed as the new Azuma Nelson, which I think is not always given that kind of pressure on somebody coming through is not always helpful. But one thing that Isaac told me was kind of the untapped resource that not just Ghana but African boxing in general. We see it all the time. We see kind of unheralded opponents come over from Africa or from countries in Africa. And they produce shocks and upsets, and you kind of never know what you're going to get sometimes when some people come over. And he was saying that if there was the correct infrastructure, if there was the investment into boxing over there, there could be some real talent coming out of Africa. Yeah,
100%. And you see it a lot now, not just because of people flying over, social media as well. So you could be on Twitter and you could see a little kid hitting the pads or all these things. But I feel like the reason why boxing hasn't grown in countries in Africa because there's no money in it in the beginning. So obviously, of course, people in Africa, like a lot of it is money orientated. So, they put into football, invest into these sports that's going to generate money back, like that they know fans love. But with boxing, you got to kind of build it from ground up. And me, coming from the small hall shows and stuff, I know even here, there's no money in it until you get to a certain level. So I can only imagine what it's like over there. But listen, there's kids over there that are dedicated and there's some coming through. I met some when I was out there. So there's some coming through. They're being guided, the best they can. And hopefully they get an opportunity to shine one day, man. But there's definitely talent out there.
Love to fight in Ghana one day?
100%. Even when I was out there, I was talking to Isaac Dogbe about it. Because obviously he's done it before. And I was just asking him, what was it like? And he was just showing me pictures and videos. I'm like, you've got me in my thoughts now. I want to come out here. And obviously Josh was there. But he was saying he wants to fight there one day. And, you just start thinking, like, imagine all three of us was in the car out there one day. That would be massive. But we've all got to get to that level we want to get to first before we can bring such a huge event back to, a country like Ghana. And hopefully after that, God willing that happens, after that would help them realise, boxing can work here and they'll put more into it if they can, yeah.
I think Dogbe boxed Cesar Juarez out there in Ghana. I think that was who he boxed. I remember seeing the videos of it and it looked like
crazy,
like a massive party with a boxing ring in the middle.
He said there was more people outside the venue than there were inside. Yeah. So I can only imagine, like, wow, that's mad. They needed a big arena for him.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Imagine taking a big show there, like because you think in your head like all of the colours in the crowd, so like all of the yellows and the reds just everywhere. It'd just be crazy. Yeah, it'd be so crazy. Good. What a spectacle! That's what boxing's all about. Boxing's about those big events, and bringing something back there would just be fantastic for African sport.
100%, 100%.
So, I know we started off on a bit of a tangent there, but we always do that. Boxing Social Podcast is kind of how we do things. Yeah. You are from South.
Yeah,
you are a South London man. Talk to me about getting started in boxing.
I didn't start like everyone else. My parents took me to a gym or whatever. I actually started because my brother, who's money orientated, went to 9 Elms Market, picked up a pair of gloves and a head guard, and came back and said, "I'm going to charge everyone £5 to fight each other." So that was what it was. It was like start some kind of fight camp, whatever you want to call it, thing. But then eventually, it just got to the point where we just all started putting on and fighting each other anyway. So me and him would go around like a tag team to saying, all right, who else is out here? Okay, cool. And it got to the point where, give me 2 weeks. So you're kind of just training whatever you're doing. You think you're training and getting yourself ready. And then we'll meet up like somewhere in the estate, maybe a block or a park or whatever. And then we just start fighting each other. This was when I was about 15. So we're like, cool. That was all it was. It was fun. I never watched boxing. I wasn't really into it until then. Then I started watching guys like Floyd and at the time Adrian Broner because he was coming up. So, you like all the flashy stuff. You're like, oh snap! This is it. Hey, Adrian Broner's a G. I love that guy. But then we had his show at that time about billions and stuff. So we're watching that. And then when I got to college, I met a friend that boxed, and I was talking to him. He's like, oh yeah, he boxes. I was like, okay, cool. Take me to your gym. Took me to his gym, and that's when I really got into it later on when I was in college. Yeah.
What was it like going to, not to say that your unorganized, unlicensed fight club wasn't a real gym, but what was it like going to a proper gym for the first time? Because I'd imagine quite different to what you were doing previously.
It was very different. In a way, it was kind of intimidating because I didn't know no one there. of course, we're in there with like, you know, people that actually do box. Funny enough, Ted was at the amateur gym, Fisher, innit? So him and a few other boys and stuff. So went in there with my friend and like kind of spoke to the head coach, Steve Heiser, and he's like, all right, what do you want? And like, all right, just want to box. He's like, but like he'd give you a real stern kind of look like, are you sure you're built for this? And you're like, yeah, like, why not? Like, let's try. And we was in there for a bit, not really getting much attention because they probably just thought you'd leave after a while. Which I did. I kept leaving but coming back. So like I'd be like, all right, this is kind of dead. And if my friend weren't going, I wouldn't turn up neither because it's like, you're the only person I know. And it got to the point where I was like, why am I following you? Like, if you're not going, I'm going. I want to try this out. So I kept going until, you know, they started paying a little bit of attention to me. Then eventually I had my first spar. I got battered. Well, it is what it is.
Everyone gets battered in their first spar.
Yeah, I sparring a lighter guy as well. At that time, I was like 17. I was like 14 stone. I don't know why. But I was fighting a guy that was like 60 kilos. And he just battered me. And I'm like, when I land on you, you're going to feel it. But I didn't land. But from then, I just kind of picked up, you know, started talking to people in the gym. And then I got a bit more comfortable. And then I just started taking it on serious. Yeah.
When did you feel like you were going to be a fighter? When did you actually think, okay, right, so you kind of mentioned the fact there, you went back, you come back, and if your friend went, you didn't. When did you kind of think, okay, right, I'm going to dedicate myself, I can actually be good at this? I don't really know, you know. It was just like, even when I had my first fight, that took like maybe a year. I think it took about a year. So I had my first fight at 19 because I was always in and out. And even after that, it was like, being a boxer, like, I'd be like, yeah, I want to be a boxer, but I couldn't vision it in my mind, if that makes sense. I couldn't just see myself like boxing on a professional level at the big stage. I couldn't really see it. So it was funny. I just kept going back and forth. But then every now and then, you know, Steve, my head coach, would be like, oh, you're good, like, you're good. You need to stay in the gym. I'd be like, all right, cool. And then I'll spar someone. How many fights? Oh, 2 fights. Oh, you're good for a 2-bouter. I'm like, how good's a 2-bouter meant to be? Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't really know. So it kind of slowly started sinking in from then. Every time someone kept saying, you're good. I'm like, okay, let me take this a little more serious. And then maybe I went out for a whole month. I might be out for a couple of weeks and then come back. And then I just decided, you know what, let me take this serious. Let me just stop everything I'm doing, you know, silly stuff outside. I dropped out of uni and then I was like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to actually push to try and be a fighter. So, what were you studying at uni?
Sports science.
Okay, and you dropped out?
Yeah.
What did your family think to that when you told me you dropped out? So did you drop out to become a boxer or did you drop out and then the boxing kind of came afterwards? You dropped out to become a boxer?
Yeah, but at the time I only had like one or two fights, like 2 fights really. So I was like, I was talking to my friend. I was like, listen, I think I'm gonna leave. But he's like, right, no, you can't. I'm like, nah, there's nothing I want to do with this. I looked for the job options and it's like, everything I don't want to be. Do you know what I mean? So he's like, all right, cool. I was like, if I don't use the time I have now to start training, then I might as well just forget this whole life thing in general. Do you know what I mean? So he's like, all right, cool, do your thing. So I didn't really tell my parents I'd left. I dropped out. After the year was done.
To go to lectures and stuff.
No, after the summer was done, not the summer, but like whatever it was, the year was done, it would be like, okay, cool. When you going back? Oh yeah, we start next month. So I kept pushing back the date we start, and then I think my mum found out because a letter came through. So she's like, oh, when did you start? I was like, I just took to my friend. He said next week, so I'm gonna go next week. So, but a letter came and said you started last month. I was like, what letter? No, my friend told me this. And I was like, alright, cool, you got me. And then she was just like, so why did you drop out? Like, that's just nothing I want to do. It's not something I want to do. It's long. And she's like, like, you want to box? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, why? Like, why do you want to box? Like, it's dangerous, all these things. And then my dad lives in Ghana. He called me. He's like, like, what's going on? I was like, I'm not going back. What do you mean you're not going back? You want to keep playing every day? Like, can you just play all the time? I'm not playing. Like, this is a sport. I want to take it serious, innit? He's like, no, you have to go back. I was like, nah, I'm not going back. So I had to kind of like stand my ground a little bit. And then I think what kind of confirmed it, my mum came to see me fight as an amateur. But what happened? It was in the championships, I think, yeah? So she'd never seen me fight before. So she's like, okay, I'm like, mum, like, come see me fight kind of thing. And then when she came in, I was fighting some big guy. I was like, geez, she came in the wrong time. So now I'm thinking, this guy's solid. It was an army boy as well. You know, the army boys are fit. It's like, geez. So cool. I got in there, boxed, I won. And then I kind of looked at her like, see, Mom, I'm good at this, innit? She said, yeah, just keep doing it, we see where it goes. And then she kind of eased up. And then as I turned professional and all, like everything that's come along, she's very supportive now. And so is my dad. He flies down every time I box. So they're both supportive now. They kind of let the uni thing go.
Is your dad going to be able to fly out for this one?
No, he won't be able to. No.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to fly out for the last few. He flew back for the
of course, yeah.
the first Mark fight, but just to be here, he couldn't come and watch it, obviously. But then other than that, he wasn't able to come back now.
Winning the British title, what was that like for your parents? I mean, I think it's kind of it's a similar story that you kind of hear from a lot of fighters who initially, like, the parents are, you know, as any parent would be. I'm a parent, and you know, I wouldn't necessarily want my child to box, because even though I kind of see what all the positive things that it does for fighters, but inevitably they end up becoming your biggest supporters, and it flips completely.
Yeah.
But I bet winning the British title was a real kind of validation of your decision to drop out of uni.
Yeah, exactly. So it's mad because I wanted them all to be there. Like, for my first time, I didn't win no national, nothing as an amateur, nothing. So the British title was my first title, amateur and pro, that I've won. And like, I wanted them to all be there because they've been at every fight. Like, not just my mum and dad, like my brothers, sister, cousins, all of them, like just close friends. They've been at every fight up to that point. So it's like, it would have been so nice for them to be there. So like, I'm turning around like, there's no one there. I got to go to the corner, celebrate with the corner kind of thing. But when I got back, obviously they all met up and stuff at my cousin's house, watched it on the big screen and stuff. They rented out some big projector thing. It was nuts. So when I got back, everyone was just like, everyone was just so proud, so happy. It was just mad. Like, I was still on the high when I got back as well, so I just couldn't stop smiling. My cheekbones were hurting because I was smiling so hard. Couldn't put the belt down. Every minute, here you go, putting it around. And I never really got to settle till like, even when I got to Ghana, I still didn't get to settle because everyone wanted to see it until like maybe about the coming up to Christmas is when I really everything kind of settled down. But they were just proud of me. You know, they want me to do more now. I was like, yeah, listen, go do the next one, go get the next one. Like you said, you know, they're my biggest supporters now, and they're proper just proud of it. Like, I can see the way they're like, when they're on the phone talking to their friends, like I can slightly hear it. You know, like my parents never been the type to always be like they show they're proud of me, but it's never like, oh yeah, love you.
It's never to your face.
Yeah, it's never to your face. Exactly. Yeah, basically what I'm trying to say. So I'm here and talk to their friends like, yeah, this is my son, the British champion. I'm like, okay, you're proud. It's cool. You're proud.
So I remember the first time I watched you box was at Royal Albert Hall, when you boxed after the main event.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? And I remember looking down at the time because I've heard about you, and obviously we'd done bits in the past. And I'd seen you box live. It was the first time I'd seen you box live. It was after you came off after the main event at Royal Albert Hall. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, so that's that Denzel Bentley. He's got some loud supporters. Because I remember everybody running down to ringside. Do you remember when you got the stoppage? That was the first time that I'd seen you box live. And I thought, yeah, I'd like to see him like as an A-side in like in an arena or something, and see what kind of crowds that you could bring. But I remember thinking that, and that's something that's never left me since the first time I saw you box live. Real great support.
Yeah, that was crazy. Like, it felt like the arena was still full.
Yeah.
It was so mad. Everyone had gone home.
Great place to box.
Oh, yeah, proper. That's my favourite venue that I boxed at. So, yeah, if I can get a full crowd in there, I'll be happy.
Yeah, that would be really, really good.
Headliner as well.
Yeah, well, you never know. You never know. I mean, they used to do a lot more boxing back there. I mean, I know it was kind of only a bit of a one-off that night. What was the main event that night? Yard versus Travis Reeves.
Yeah, that's his name. Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, that was an interesting one, but beautiful arena to box. That was a brilliant one to tick off as well.
Yeah,
to say that you've boxed at Royal Albert Hall. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
So, Felix Cash. We're a couple of weeks away. I mentioned that it's come around quickly, sort of like Christmas. But a lot of people in boxing, myself included, very, very excited about the fight. How good is Felix Cash? Your hardest test as a professional?
Yeah, I guess so. You could say that on paper and stuff. But we'll have to see, you know, is he going to be a harder test than Mark? We don't know yet. But like I said, he's a very good fighter. I think he's a good fighter. You know, he's not in this position for no reason, of course. But like I said, it's another 50-50 fight that I'm willing to take. And, you know, if I get past it or when I get past it, it's bigger and better things. So, yeah, man.
Are you surprised that he took it? Obviously, there was a lot of talk about him boxing potentially for the European title. But you've ended up boxing each other. Are you surprised?
A little bit. Like, he's a fighting guy, innit? I felt like if he was to go another route, it wouldn't have been his decision. But it's good to know that he's actually, you know, turned around to his team and said, no, I want to take this. So, like I said, respect for that. I do respect that because some people would have just been like, yo, it's up to my team. Oh, my team want me to go this route and blah, blah, blah. But he wants to win the British title and he's showing that he wants to win the British title. So he's turned around and taking the fight with me, which is a good thing for me because, like I said, when I come through this, it's bigger and better. And I feel like I need that name on my record, you know, to prove that domestically I am the best and I am ready for, you know, other challenges. Because if he didn't take that, it becomes a thing of where do I go to push on? You know what I mean? So I think he's the right guy that I need to push on. I think we both need each other, like number 1 and number 2 in the country. Obviously, apart from Chris Eubank and Liam Williams.
Yeah, his boxing.
So yeah, exactly. Yeah. So just it's us two there. Like the next two up, domestic. He's Commonwealth champion. I'm British champion. We're both bringing something to the table. Both undefeated. So I feel like we both need each other for this fight to kind of push on to show that we can compete at higher levels.
Uncle Frank got you home advantage as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a good one.
Yes, good respect. Big respect to Uncle Frank, man. He done it. He done it this time. So I'm happy he's done it. Like I said before, not, you know, you can say home advantage, but there's no crowd there now. It's not like a whole BT show that, you know, it's we're both in an empty room boxing. Well, not completely empty, but you know what I mean. So it's still good that, you know, it's on our side. So I'm happy that it makes me feel like more than anything, Frank believes in me and he's willing to support me and back me. So that's what makes me feel good about him winning the purse business stuff. So yeah.
What's your relationship like with Uncle Frank?
You know, I'm just finally getting to know him because, of course, when I started boxing with him, I was undercard fighter and all these things. I wasn't one of the star boy amateurs to come through the ranks. I started off on small show and dinner show. So it was just a bit of him seeing me, okay, well done, keep doing this, boy, blah, blah, blah. But after, you know, winning the British, it's a bit more, you know, I'm being noticed now, do you know what I mean? So yeah, go out there, get the next one and stuff. But everything that really goes on goes through my manager, Martin. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to touch upon Martin. Obviously, you're a product of the Peacock Gym.
Yeah.
A lot of good fighters coming out of there in various different stables, but all kind of under the same roof.
Yeah.
What's it like kind of plying your trade in such everybody in there is kind of young and fresh and kind of looking to forge their own career, really, which I assume rubs off really nicely on you. Although I suppose that now, British champion, you're one of the senior boys in the gym.
Yeah, but I don't like seeing it like that. I like to learn from everyone in the gym. So sometimes you might just catch me watching sparring or watching pads and stuff. So it's all good. But since we've moved to Epping and stuff, like, you know, a lot of the other boys that were under the, you know, the same kind of roof ain't been about. We've kind of split up. So, but we're still in contact. They come for sparring sometimes. Like Dan Aziz is always in the gym sparring with us. So it's good to see those guys in that every now and then. But we've got a big stable anyway. There's loads of us. I can name everyone, but be here for ages. But everyone's training hard. They're all doing well. You know, Chris Burke's got 2 titles. Louis Lin just won, you know, not too long ago. And there's more boys coming through. So even looking at them winning, it's like, all right, cool, I've got to keep this up now because, like you said, I must be one of the senior boys. So you don't want to let that slip. And it's like, all right, I've got to catch up again. So that's dead. So we're all just working hard. We all put in work together. We all support each other. Everyone's happy for everyone in the gym. So it's nice. It's good energy. It's not like, oh, you think you're big done that because you're this, that. It's just nice energy, man. And even the other boys, like I said, Dan Aziz and all the other guys that come around, Adrian and that come around sparring, they're all happy for us too. So it's like, yeah, man, go get that. And I'll be like, yeah, you're all right next, go get it kind of thing. So
I've not been to the new Peacock yet. I think a couple of our guys have been down there at various points since you've moved over. You like it? A little bit of a change, I would assume.
Yeah. It's a nice gym. It's you know, a bit further out, but you know, everyone's driving, so it's all kind of simple to get there. But it's a nice gym. The only thing you're missing is, you know, everyone else that was in there that would kind of, you know, buy tickets or support you or see you spar. Oh, good job. But at the same time, that can be a distraction. So, like I said, we've got a big team, so it's not really like you're missing out on any fun or energy. Like everyone's in the gym, everyone's still energetic, everyone's still doing their thing, there's still banter. So I guess it's cool, and it's kind of good for, you know, the circumstances we're in now, being it's all COVID and stuff. You don't really want to be around too much people, and you know, because it can mess up everything. Like you see someone in the gym, hey, how you doing? Go test for a fight. Oh yeah, sorry, come back positive. You got to send back. You know what I'm saying? So it's just long, but for now, for the, you know, situation we're in, it's good.
Just like to point out that we are COVID negative here at the Boxing Social Podcast. So if he does test positive for COVID, Frank, please.
No, I won't. I'm not testing positive. Nah.
God, I lost where I am now. Yeah, Mark Hefferon. So the Mark Hefferon fights. How much did you learn from the first fight going into the second fight? Because I feel like there were definite improvements that you made from the first fight going into the second fight. Obviously, you got the win in quite emphatic fashion in the second fight. How much did you learn, and what did you learn from that first fight?
I learned a lot from that fight. I learned a lot about myself, and the second fight was easier because I learned a lot about him. So, like, in terms of me, I just realised the mistakes I was making in the fight. I just kept watching it back and over and over, and made sure I consciously didn't make those mistakes again in sparring, so I don't carry it out into the ring. For the second fight, I learned that I could take a shot. He caught me with a good left hook. You know, and I learned that I could do the rounds where I felt like in the fight I kept counting it like, okay, round 5, okay, 5 more to go. All right, 6, okay, 4 more to go. And the second fight I didn't do that. I didn't even know what round it was when I stopped him, if I'm being honest. I was just like, let's just go. That's it, we're fighting. But second fight I was a lot more patient, even though in the first fight I was moving around, but in my mind it was 100 miles per hour. But in my style I was just moving. But in the second fight everything was just relaxed, slow down. I felt comfortable, used my jab better. Every time he stepped forward, I'd only take, you know, a little step back and counter him. And, you know, the 1-2 was working. So I felt like, okay, stick to that because he's not moving his head. So I realised in the first fight that he doesn't really move his head. He wasn't as physically strong as I anticipated him to be. That's why in the first fight I thought being about 40, he's probably going to use his physical strength against me. And I took his best shot and he couldn't put me over or put me out with it. So there's nothing to fear. In the second fight, not like I was scared in the first fight, but I was just a bit more wary. So in the second fight, I was like, okay, I've taken your best shot. When I was round 9, tired, never been there before, you're not gonna hit me. You're not gonna hit me with that same shot in the first round and hurt me. You couldn't hurt me with it in the last fight. So I'm gonna push on it. I'm gonna push a bit here, come forward. I'm gonna tag you. Now you take my best shot and let's see if you can take it. And that's what I done, and I came out with a win.
Yeah, it's always a way for a fighter when you, particularly what you mentioned earlier, kind of coming from a small hall background and then kind of working your way up to those big title opportunities on BT Sport, 12-round fight, doing the rounds, knowing that you can do that and taking that into the next fight. I think the improvements were clear to see. Mark Hefferon, how does he compare, without going into it too much, because I'm sure Tony Sims will be watching this, without going into it too much, how does Mark Hefferon compare to Felix Cash?
I think if they both fought, it would be a very good fight. It'd be all action. I think they're, pretty similar. I think Felix has got a little bit better head movement and better feet. Whereas Cash is just like straight in and out. I mean, not Cash, sorry, Hefferon's, but in and out power punches kind of thing. I think Cash mixes it up a bit more, but listen, they're both good fighters anyway, so yeah. Not
really much trash talk between you and Felix. I know it's not really his style, not really yours from what I can see either. Does that bother you at all? Is
no, it doesn't
nice and
me.
Respectful going in?
It's not even about respectful because I've seen headlines where he said some little dodgy things, but
yeah, but that's just clickbait. People
I'm saying I didn't watch it, so I just see headlines. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really my style.
You mentioned about a spar that you had a long time ago.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about the spar?
Yeah, we had a spar. We both done a few rounds beforehand. I done 4 rounds with Ted. He done 4 rounds with Jimmy Smith, and then we jumped in with each other to do the like kind of last 4 rounds. It just got a bit heated, didn't it? It just got a bit heated. But I don't know whether it got heated because I seen this earlier today because he felt like we could fight one day. We put it on him and put a little bit of doubt in his mind. It could have been that, but it's just one of those things where it got heated. It just got a bit messy. It got dirty, and then we just ended up having a little roll around on the floor, a little scrap. But I've seen him after that, and it was all cool. So it wasn't like there's some beef.
Happens sometimes, doesn't it? I mean, it's one of those things.
Very rarely, but sometimes.
Sometimes it does happen. Tensions can spill over, particularly when you're, as you mentioned, sparring somebody who could potentially box sometime in the future. But yeah, I always wanted to know what had happened in that infamous spar.
What was that? Probably like 2018. He's probably a bit more of a hothead back then. I think he's grown and he's a bit more chilled now and stuff. So, I don't know if he's had these problems with anyone else. But it was decent. I've seen spar used to something about we had 1 round and I was holding for dear life and all that stuff. But we done 4 rounds, and it just I was boxing. He was trying to come forward, and then it just got messy, man. Basically, yeah.
You mentioned Ted Cheeseman, just had him in here. You kind of saw each other off camera. One of your old amateur teammates from way back when. Both British champions now, which is a great little tale to tell.
Good. Yeah, that's good. I've been waiting for the gyms to kind of open, like amateur gyms, so I can go back and show off my belt to some of the young amateurs and my old coach. Because it's a great achievement, isn't it? You always want to go back and kind of show what you've achieved, but haven't had a chance to do that yet. So hopefully after this fight, gyms are still open and I can go back with the British and Commonwealth. So yeah.
Did you take your British belt with you to Ghana?
I did, of course I did. Yeah, of course I didn't want to think about that. Yeah. That was on the plane with me. It didn't leave me.
Wearing it to the airport.
Yeah. I think I even got one of my luggages were over and they were going to charge me, and my brother's like, it's the British champion. I said, go and take it for free. I was like, you get some perks with it.
I was going to say, there you go. Throwing your weight around already as British champion. What's going to happen when you win the British and Commonwealth title?
You know what I'm saying? But abuse it a bit more. I'm Commonwealth, do I get another bag? No, I'm joking now. But it was nice. It was good. It was good. It was out there with me, showing it off to everyone. I I was here anyway. So I'm proud of it, innit? It's a big achievement. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, my first real achievement in boxing. So apart from just winning fights, so I'm proud of it. Yeah.
Mentioned Liam Williams earlier on. He's boxing Demetrius Andrade this weekend.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight going?
It's a good fight. At first, I'm not gonna lie to you, when they said he's mandatory, I thought, he's gonna get bad. But as it's gone on, I've just been thinking, like, because I just like to do that. I like to kind of analyze fights. I don't know, maybe I should be an analyst when I'm done. But
right, you can talk.
But I just analysing fights, and I just like, okay, apart from his 2 losses to Liam Smith, they've got similar resumes, like in terms of the level of opponents. Like, who has Andrade beat that Williams couldn't beat? He beat Atlantis Fox that Andrade beat and stuff.
Yeah, Williams smashed him, and Andrade went the distance with him.
You know what I'm saying? So you just think about it. When Andrade went this one, was that in middleweight or at that might have been his first or second fight middleweight. Yeah, I think he just moved up. But either way, apart from that, that's their only similar opponent, and I don't think Andrade's beat anyone, or hasn't beat anyone that's like super good, like world elite level kind of fighter. So it's an even playing field. But I still favour Andrade because I feel like he's had a better pedigree. He's been about longer, and he's an awkward fighter to kind of pin down and catch with clean shots. So I give it to him on that edge and longer reach. Williams is gonna have to come forward a lot. He's got a shorter reach. He's gonna have to come forward and try and throw big shots. And I feel like Andre's movement is so good, he'd be able to just spin off and whatever, use his long jab or even stay there at times and just swing in big shots if he wants to. So I think Demetrius Andrade's got more to his game, but Williams definitely has a chance in this, more than I thought when it first got announced, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and kind of what we spoke about earlier about learning from fights when you're in step-up fights. I think he's learnt from the Liam Smith fights. There's an argument to say that he was certainly, in my opinion, winning the first fight until the stoppage.
I thought that as well.
With the accidental clash of heads, which was
not accidental, but yeah.
I'm glad you said it. Sorry, Beefy. And the second fight, I thought he was well in that fight as well. A very close fight, could have gone either way. And he seems to have learnt from it. He knocked out Kareem Ashur on one of the Warren cards. I can't remember what one it was.
I think that
went
was
the distance with David.
O2? Yeah, O2.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was Dubois.
Gorman on the cards. Yeah.
So Kareem Ashur went 10 rounds or 12 rounds with David Lemieux, I think, in the year before then. And you kind of see what Liam Williams had done to him, knocked him out, I think, 3 or 4 rounds or something like that. So I think I'm kind of with you. I think, like, gun to my head, I probably would go with the smart money of Andrade maybe on points. But I feel like there's just a nagging feeling with me that it could be the right time for Liam Williams. I don't necessarily feel that Demetrius Andrade has boxed to the same level as what he threatened to do when he come through at 154. When he was a star coming through at 154, I don't really think he's kicked on. I don't think he's necessarily got the fights to prove that. And when you're Liam Williams, who's on a roll, and you have had your conversations with Liam Williams around you boxing for the middleweight title.
Another reason I want him to win. But
yes, he is. He's a pretty game fella, Mr. Williams, and I don't think that he's going to be overawed by the occasion. And I think it may just be his time. It's an interesting one for me.
Yeah, I think so as well. Like you said, the level of, and everyone he's won the title of hasn't been anyone.
No,
he
beat Walter Kaltendokwa for the vacant. Well, admittedly, Billy Joe Saunders failed a drugs test. He boxed Walter Kaltendokwa for the vacant title. And then I think he's since then Macy Solecki.
Yeah.
Luke Keeler.
Yeah, Luke Keeler.
Who else has he boxed at middleweight?
I was watching one the other day. He's boxing someone the other day. Kind of boring. I think the guy that Billy Joe boxed on that leisure centre. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah. Artur Akavov.
Yeah, that guy.
That's it. Yeah. God, that was a bad fight. Billy Joe Saunders and Artur Akavov was a bad fight as well.
The one with Andre went any better, to be honest. So. Yeah.
You mentioned that you want Liam Williams to win. Obviously, you've had your back and forths in the past. Do you allow yourself to think further ahead at world titles? I guess you have to, right? As a fighter, a little bit. Even when you go to sleep at night before you go to bed, you're thinking, surely got to be.
Yeah, like, listen, everyone's allowed to dream, innit? Like, and that's what I do. I dream. I imagine things. I kind of picture myself in these positions. I do, if I'm being honest. I'm not going to say, oh, no, I don't. No, I do. I want to be a world champion. So you think about world champion things. But essentially, I'm not letting it get over my head, because if I keep thinking, if he wins, and I'm taking my eye off the ball, do you know what I mean? So every now and then I'll be like, listen, focus on Cash, because if you don't win that, that's all off the table. It's all out the window. Like, forget about that. Like, you have to sit back and just spectate now. So, you know, I still got to focus on what I'm doing and, you know, be 100% involved in the cash fight. So I'm still very much 100%, you know, focused on what I'm doing. But yeah, I do, my thoughts do stray away sometimes when I think about these things,
Yeah, you don't, sometimes people say, well, you know, he's looking past. It's not always looking past. You always have to have something to aim for. There's always good to have a dream, so to speak. From South London, as I mentioned, it's sort of become a little bit of a hotbed recent years. We've had obviously Dillian White coming through, Chris Congo, Richard Riakporte, all coming from South London. What does it mean to you to kind of, to fly the flag for South London and, you know, be British champion and hopefully, you know, moving on and moving forward, achieving more?
It feels good. I think the water's different around these sides, but it feels good, you know. There ain't really much, like, if I'm being honest with you, there ain't really much boxing going around in South until recently, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's never been a real thing. I think, like, East London sides have been more dominant on the boxing side of things from, like, you know, very way back in other cities outside London and stuff. But South London's never been a place, well, to my knowledge, where, like, boxing was a thing to thrive off. Like, there's boxers, let's box. Do you know what I mean?
It's become a real vibrant scene recently.
Recently, it's you know, there's a lot of us coming through that are kind of, like you said, flying the flag. But I think it's good. I think, you know, we're bringing more attraction to it down south, and maybe someone now will put their kids into it, find a gym and put their kids into it, and, you know, help them progress. But it's just always been, well, for me when I was younger, football and these kind of things. But I think boxing is kind of coming through now, and I'm happy to be, you know, like, in my area, like Patmore Estate, I don't think anyone's won. Well, I know no one's won the British title from there. Do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I know Harold Graham's from Battersea, and obviously he's done things Battersea. But just my estate, Patmore, like, I'm going around, and people are like, "Well, you made history, bro." I'm like, I ain't done nothing yet. I'm trying to be a world champion, but no one's brought this British title to this estate before, so you're doing well. And it kind of made me think, oh, you know what? That's kind of mad. Like, I can actually say I'm the first from this estate to bring a British title to the estate and kind of show it off. And, you know, my friends hold it, take pictures and stuff, but it's kind of crazy still.
I think it's like, obviously I'm not a fighter, but I always feel like it's important for fighters to also obviously stay grounded, but also don't underplay what you've achieved. You know, appreciate what you've achieved, because you never know. Obviously, particularly in a dangerous sport like boxing, it can be all gone in the blink of an eye. One punch, even in sparring, you catch an elbow in the eye or something in sparring, and that could be it. Your career's done, and before you know it, you were the former British champion, and you've never even lost it in the ring, you know. So I think it's always important to take stock of what you've got and appreciate what you've got, while obviously, you know, staying grounded and thinking of the next one. Have you ever thought about what you would do if it wasn't professional boxing?
No, you know, not really. Something to do with sports, but probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. That's why I left uni, because I just felt like whatever I do would just be a job, in it. Like, I don't know, I haven't thought of anything outside. There's a lot of things now that potentially I probably would have enjoyed, but back then there wasn't much I would have enjoyed. That's why I kind of stuck to boxing.
What about after you finish?
After I finish, there's a few things I want to do. That there's not like more. I want to say like community charity work when I finish, giving back type of stuff. You know, depending where the sport is in certain areas, especially where I'm from. If it hasn't grown there, I'd probably help it grow, because hopefully by the time I finish boxing, it would have helped me change my life. Like, right now, it hasn't officially, you know, changed my life. Like, it's changed me as a person, but not, you know, my lifestyle. So if it, you know, by the time I, you know, like I said, God willing, by the time I finish, I've changed my life, and I can come back and show people like, yo, look what boxing's done for me, and help grow it in, you know, the area I'm from, and probably do some stuff out in Ghana as well. Help, you know, if it hasn't grown by then, help it grow there, and, you know, introduce more boxing to more, you know, cities and areas in Ghana as well.
Well, hopefully you, Joshua Breazeale and Isaac Dogbe get to share a bill out there sometime soon, and that will be the start of it. That will be you'll be the lighting of the touch paper, and getting boxing in Ghana up and running. Final words I'll leave to you. Obviously, we are less than 2 weeks away now from what's the last 2 weeks of camp like when you're prepared for a big fight?
Hard. Well,
I'll just listen to you list all the foods that you want to eat. Definitely after the fight, not before the fight. But last week of hard training this week?
Yeah, last week of hard training. It's just hard. It doesn't get any easier, really. Just the last week's just about, you know, just making the rest of the weight or just maintaining it. But I like to maintain my weight from kind of early, so I don't have to do too much. Fight week, I can just stay sharp and stay fresh, and, you know, I have to drain myself or kill myself. But it doesn't get any easier all the way through, to be honest. Like, even this last week now, you know, it's the last week in your mind, so you just want to get it over with, but the work's hard, so I guess it's like a battle, kind of like, oh man, we're there, but you're not there. All right, dig in for a little bit. If I had like 6 weeks, I'd be like, okay, cool, let's go. Do you know what I mean? But whereas coming to the end, I know I'm fit. Like if I'm not fit now, I'm not gonna be fit. So I know I'm fit. I know I'm strong. I know, you know, everything's coming off well. So it's just get me there in my mind, get me there. Then I gotta go in again for another session. It's like, this is long, but you gotta go through it. Do you know what I mean? So just waiting for that last week. When I'm in the hotel, I know, okay, it's on anyway, but it's like, okay, yes, we're finally there.
Do you like boxing behind closed doors?
Not really. I'm winning all these fights and like there's no one to really kind of celebrate with. I want to jump on the top rope and be like, can't do that when no one's there, innit? So it's just like, all right, cool. It was like in my corner and stuff.
What about the week? Because I mentioned like you don't have an army of I know you do Zoom and stuff like that, but you can do it in kind of confined space, and you very much can keep yourself to yourself when you're in the bubble. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer to kind of be out and about a little bit more?
No, I think I prefer to be out and about a bit more. Like just take your mind off the boxing a bit. You have more to do. I think
a few fighters have said that.
Yeah, sometimes you think, oh yeah, I got my own space, whatever, but that gets long. You're just in your rooms.
Overthink the fight.
Overthinking, you're sitting there, time's going mad slow. And I got a Zoom interview. Yeah. Okay, back to bed. Oh, I got another one. I prefer the outside, you know, face to face. Yeah, boom, boom, boom. Okay, who's next? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now I'm going to chill off. I've done all that now. But when you're in your room, kind of relaxing, but you're not relaxing because you got to go and do something at this time and this time, but it's all in your room. It's kind of stressful. I start thinking, how do people work from home, man? This is kind of long. It's kind of long. You know what I'm saying? You need a working environment kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, that's what, as I said, that's why I like to get down to the podcast whenever I can. What's the first thing you're going to do after the fight? Obviously, provided that you win, I'm sure you're going to say that you will. The British and Commonwealth middleweight champion, what's the first thing you do? I'm
going home to have a bowl of fufu. I had that in Asia. I talked to my mum about that. It's just like yesterday maybe. I was like, after that, I need a bowl of fufu, mum. But yeah, now I'm going to eat, see the family, you know, celebrate, you know, cheers, whatever, everything. Eat some food, man. Proper food, not like making weight food, like greasy food. Like, yeah, that's what I need. We
had this conversation literally just before we started. I knew exactly what you were going to say then. Okay, Denzel Bentley. Well, as I mentioned, it's the first time that we've done this. I definitely hope it's not the last. I hope to catch up with you sometime soon. Yeah. The final word I will leave with you. How does your fight with Felix Cash go?
Win for Denzel. Win for 2 sharp.
Stoppage?
Possibly. Keep your eyes peeled. Don't blink. Might miss it. Yeah.
It's going to be a great fight. As a boxing fan, first and foremost, before anything else, I'm really, really looking forward to it. So, yes, best of luck. Hope you emerge from the fight as handsome as you went into it. Thanks very much for popping down to the Boxing Social podcast today, and hope to catch up with you soon. The British middleweight champion, Denzel Too Sharp Bentley. Thanks very much for being to Boxing Social.
Thanks.
Put.